Hello my lovely people, how are you all doing? I am back today with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about my 2026 goals for my reading basically, as well as maybe a little bit about my channel if there's anything I want to do, and just general book / faith related stuff. So yeah, let's get started. I'm not sure where to start. I might start with my non-books goals that I just need to talk about, and then I'll show you the books that I have with me. So as you know, I am a reader, obviously. And for 2025, I didn't really have much goals. I had vague, loose ones like read more classics, as well as a goal of reading 60 books. So, I certainly read more classics this year. I'll do a proper wrap-up of 2025 probably in the new year in January, when I have all of the data in terms of how many books I have read this year. Because whilst I like the idea of doing it all beforehand, I want to include December and my December reads, so that is why I'm going to do it in the new year. But obviously 2026 goals, I don't need to wait for that necessarily. So yeah, as far as I'm aware, I definitely beat my 60 book goal. I'm not sure by how much yet, but again, like I said, we will find that out in my how did I do in 2025 or whatever title I give it. So yes, yeah, I don't really have much else to say for that. I think for my goal this coming year, I'm not sure how much more to increase it. I'm very much of the opinion and feeling of not pressurizing myself. I'm very much into not focusing sort of thing on how many books I read and on the numbers and statistics in that respect. But I'm thinking, because I've started getting into audiobooks, I'm thinking I might increase my goal to maybe 80 books. I'm not sure if I'll get to it, complete it, but it would be interesting because I do include things like my non-fiction that I read as well, so it's very possible I might be able to get up to that. But because I'm a slow reader, I don't want to increase it too much. So I think 80 books should hopefully be maybe reachable, but certainly I think it's not too far of an overreach of a goal to aim for. So that's great. My other thing that I'm going to do that's reading related is my reading journal. So as you guys will have seen, I had my bullet journal where I just have a reading log of what I've read, when I finished it and when I started it, and my rating. And I also had a ready-made reading journal that I did where I also had some reviews, as well as some other stats that I didn't really stick with, like how many pages a day I read and stuff like that. And I have decided that I want to try and do my own reading journal, because I take part in quite a lot of readathons and yearly challenges, but in ready-made reading journal books that you can buy on like Amazon or your bookstores probably as well, they don't have room for that, which is fair enough. But I want to be able to track them physically as well as on my phone, because sometimes, as I'm sure you have all noticed if you're a regular viewer, sometimes I forget to check, so it would be useful to do that. I already have a journal that I bought years ago because I wanted to try bullet journaling, but I didn't stick to that, but I didn't finish it, so I'm going to try and finish that one off instead of buying a whole new one. I currently don't have it with me because it's under a big pile of stuff. Hopefully, if I can get to it before I upload this, hopefully I'll be able to put a picture up somewhere of the front cover, so you know what it looks like, because I can't remember who it's by either. I think it's a decent journal, I think. But yeah, I can't remember how much it was. It's certainly not cheap for a normal notebook, but obviously it's purposely supposed to be good quality paper, you know, so you can use different types of, you know, mediums, I think they call it, in terms of like paint or markers, etc. So I'm going to hopefully use that, and my goal for that is to be basic and not complicated with setting it up, because I think that's partly why I struggle with doing my own ones, is because it takes a long time and I don't want to spend all of my days doing it all. So I want to do something that, whilst I do know it'll take a bit longer, I don't want it to take too long, or at least not regularly take too long. So that's good. I've also got my own bullet journal for normal anyway. I didn't bring that up with me because that's not really book related specifically. But it's the same type as the one you've also seen me show before that has artwork on it that you can colour in yourself. That this girl called Amanda does. It's her own business. So even though it's expensive, I really like supporting her. So that's great. So obviously I've still got that to do as well for each month and week and stuff. So yeah, I don't want to overface myself because that is what puts me off. So yeah, so that's cool. In terms of my channel, I don't think there's really going to be much change. I know I have started to do monthly vlogs, and so far as I will continue to do that each month. In terms of content, I don't have any changes. There's a couple of, or at least one, sort of series that I would like to do. I don't know how I'm going to go about it yet, but you might have heard me mention about Christian booktubers and their being authors as well. So as you know from my last haul when it was my birthday, as well as just a few months overall as well, I got a few books by some Christian booktubers or YouTubers, because one of them, I'm not sure he actually does booktube specifically, who are authors, and so I would like to do a series on that. I don't know whether I'm going to do one video for each book or do a couple in each video or all of them in one. I don't know yet. I haven't arranged it. I also don't know when that's going to happen. And obviously depending on how I do it, I don't know how often that will be. So yeah, that is one thing I want to do for definite. There might be others as well, but we'll see. So yes, other than that, there's no changes. I'll still do different things like, you know, obviously I'll have my TBRs and wrap-ups at the start and end of each month, slash next month, kind of. Obviously I will also have things like tags that I do, either because I've been tagged myself or because I just want to do them. So nothing much will change with that one. I'm not, as far as I know, I'm not changing my upload schedule. It's been a bit difficult this month in December, but that's because of December stuff. So yeah, there's no changes with that as far as I'm aware. In terms of my other goals, in terms of what I want to read, as usual, I want to try and read more classics, as well as just read other books, you know, in general. Maybe technically try more audiobooks is one of the things I want to do. So yes, what I'm going to do now that we're on the books is I'm going to talk about the books I specifically want to prioritise, slash series I want to either finish or read up to the most recent publication, because some of them that I have on my pile of books here are not actually finished series. So just read up to wherever the most recent publication is. So I think I will start with, I might start with the books that are on my left for now. So one of the types of books I want to try and read more of is big books. There's more in my collection that I haven't brought up, but these are the ones that I'm more interested in and want to sort of try and prioritise. Whether I'll get to all of them that I'm showing here, slash that I have already downstairs as well, I don't know. And one of them is an interchangeable, so one of them is also a series that I'm reading. So one of them counts for both, not prompts, but stacks of books, I guess. So I might use that particular book last, so then it kind of just blends in with the next load of books. And actually another one is also a series, so and then the other one I'm not sure is a series. Well, I guess I know which order to talk about them in. So one of them is actually a classic as well as a thick book. It's one that I wanted to read this year but haven't been able to get to it. So I'm putting it on my official list for this year, the coming year. I'm not doing any amount of books in this year, like some people say 12 books for 2026, or the most popular one is 26 books for 2026. I'm not doing anything like that because I'm a slow reader. I don't want to limit myself and feel like I'm being forced to read these books. So these are just books that I would like to get to. If I do, that's fantastic. If I don't, that's also fine. I just wanted to preface that before I go into it, because I meant to say that before I started talking about them. So the first big book that I want to read next year is The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann. This is a classic. It's a very big book. I think it's over 600 pages. Yeah, I think it's like 700, I think, unless that's acknowledgements or something. Or North and Now. Oh yeah, here we go. So yeah, it's 716 pages. It's a very big book, and the writing isn't the biggest and takes up quite a lot of the space, so there's not big margins, so it's quite a lot to read. I'd like to try and read this at some point next year. Don't know when, but at some point. Where's that put you? I'll put you over there. Okay, the next one that is a book I'm not sure is part of a series. It might be, but it might not be. I'm not actually sure. If it is, I'm slightly scared of how big the rest of the books are going to be, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And like I said, this is a really big book. So this book has 634 pages, not including acknowledgements. And from the little bit, the last sentence that I just saw, I think this is going to be a series as well. But we'll see. So that is just, is it just no, it's The Shield of Sparrows by Daphne Perry. The cover drew me in at first, of course, and then the blurb. So I really want to read this at some point. It's a very thick book, but to be fair, the writing is very big. So as you can see, the margins are quite big and the writing is quite big. So even though it's scary, hopefully it'll be a quick read. It seems to be like a fantasy of some sort, probably romance. I don't know if it's YA or adult, but yes, it sounds good. So hopefully I'll enjoy it. Obviously, with any of the books I read, the ones that I'm going to show you and the ones that I will show each month when I do my TBR, if I DNF them, I DNF them, either a soft one or a permanent one. We will see. So, yeah, especially stuff that isn't Christian, like Shield of Sparrows. That isn't going to be Christian, I doubt it anyway. The Magic Mountain, with it being a classic, maybe, but most classics I don't really necessarily count as Christian unless they're specifically Christian classics. The only exception I have made is Anne of Green Gables, because that series is pretty Christian. So, but yeah, I don't know about this either. But so content might be an issue. We'll have to see. So the next two are technically parts of a series, but also big books. I forgot this was part of a series. I think 2 books, including this one, is out at the moment. Obviously neither of which I have read. Certainly this one is thick. I don't know how big the other one is. But that is The Will of the Many. This is by Jane either Islington or Islington, I'm not sure. But this is the first book in the series, Hierarchy. I don't know much about it. I know it's kind of a mix of historical, like Greek, as well as like fantasy elements, as well as academia. I don't know if it's dark academia or light. With how thick it is, and with it being a fantasy, I'm going to guess dark, but I don't know. So again, I don't know about content, but it's a thick book as well. I don't know how big the second one is. Oh, there's a name of characters at the back, that's good, in terms of how to pronounce them. Okay, yeah, right, okay. So it's 675 pages. I think that one is, I don't know if this is part of the next book. But anyway, so yeah, I want to read this. It sounds good, and hopefully I'll be able to read the second one as well, if I like it enough, and, you know, content. But that's another thick one, and unintentionally part of a series. I didn't know when I bought it, and I have since forgot. So there we go. The next one is not one I've forgotten about in terms of being part of a series. So this is the official start of the series selection. So this is a thick book. Not all of the books in the series are thick, but from this book onwards, they are. So this is the fourth book in the Harry Potter series, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. This is very thick. And now, yes, I am aware it's hardback, but it's still going to be thick. I know that because of The Order of the Phoenix is a paperback, and that is also really thick. So again, the writing is pretty big and the margins are quite small, so hopefully it should be a quick read, and in terms of, you know, the content and how exciting it is. This one is 636 pages. So yeah, I want to read this next year and finish the series next year. Sorry, read this next year and finish the series next year. Ideally, maybe one a month, but I'm not sure. It kind of depends because the books are very thick, and it also depends on the other books on my TBR for each month. So yeah, that is the start of my series stack of books. Let me just have a drink of water. There's no Christmas mug today. Like I said, the next stack of books are a series I would like to finish next year, or at the very least read up to the most recent publication book that I get to that in that year. Because some of them are incomplete series. So like I said, I want to read and finish Harry Potter. And then let's continue with the non-Christian ones, because actually most of these are Christian books, which is cool. So I'm going to include the non-Christian ones first. So the next series that I want to finish, or at least so far finish, I don't know if there's going to be any other books after this or not, but I want to read and finish the Hunger Games series. This is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is the second prequel that takes place when Haymitch is in the games. So I want to read this and finish the series, the book series. As far as I know, it is finished after this, but I don't know. But otherwise, you know, at the very least, if it's not finished, read up to the most recent book that's been published. So that's those. Let's get into my Christian fiction. So actually, interestingly, all of these are either historical or biblical fictions, which is quite funny. So I'm going to start with well, there's two of each. I'm going to start with the one that is actually a finished series. Actually, I think the other one is also a finished one as well. So I might go with that next. But the first series, Christian, these are more ancient historical than biblical. It is technically set in biblical times, but it's not following any of the biblical people in the book, except there was mentions in one of the first, and then maybe the first book, or maybe even the second as well, I'm not sure, but definitely the first, there is mentions of one of Jesus's disciples. I think it was John, but it doesn't actually follow any of them. It follows these other characters. So, and that is the Mark of the Lion series by Francine Rivers. I have actually read books 1 and 2, as if you're a regular viewer, you will know. I recently-ish read the second one, An Echo in the Darkness. But I want to read As Sure as the Dawn, which is the third and final book in that series. And actually, I am going to be taking part in a book club, like a free one, that Oceana from Oceana Reads Co., or previously known as Oceana Gotta Read 'Em All, if you're not aware of her YouTube name change. She's doing a Francine Rivers book club read-along, where we're going through a selection of books that Oceana has picked out, of books that she's either wants to reread or hasn't read and wants to read, and I'm taking part in that. And basically the books included in that are the Mark of the Lion trilogy, so I will also be rereading books 1 and 2 anyway, but book 3 is the one I haven't read yet and I want to get to and finish. The next one is another complete, well, it's a trilogy, I think, not a series, but I want to read and hopefully finish the Matchmakers series by Jane Austen. I currently have To Spark a Match, which is book 2. I have books 1 and 2, but I don't have book 3, and I think it's only the 3. And this is a historical romance. I think it's usually rom-com as well. They're usually quite funny. So yeah, it does follow different characters, but they are I assume they are interconnected, because we do see the main girl, who is Adelaide? Yeah, Adelaide. We do see her in book 1. So it's kind of interconnected, but you do see the characters. Okay, the next one, I think I will continue switching over. So this one is a newer-ish series. This is book 2, but I assume more will be coming out. I don't know how many more, because it follows some brides, and there's a lot of them. So I don't know how many this author is going to make of these brides, but that is Noble by Michu Andrews. This is book 2 in the King David's Bride series. I read book 1 last year. I reread it as well last year. I think so. Was it the year before and then last year? I don't know. Anyway, no, I think it was both last year. So this is book 2. This is, as far as I know, an incomplete series. It's still ongoing. So this is one I want to continue, want to read book 2, and if book 3 comes out next year, hopefully read that. But obviously, because it's not a completed series, obviously I'm not expecting to finish the series next year, or necessarily read up to the publication date, because it's so new. But yes, I want to do that. And then the last one that's part of a series is a very popular one in the Christian booktube world, and that is the Timeless series by Gabrielle Meyer. This is the 3rd book that I have here, and that is For a Lifetime. This follows twin girls, is it Grace and Hope? And so I want to read this and then also continue the series next year. This, again, like I said, is not completed yet. I think it's going to be a 10-book series, if I remember correctly, and I can't remember how many books are currently out, but I think at least 1, if not 2 more, are coming out next year, because I think she's doing 2 a year, I think, which is crazy, because that's just a series as well. I think she's been releasing other books too, although I could be wrong. But yeah, I would like to read the series and read up to whichever book I get to for next year, either the first book of 2026 that she releases, or the second one, whichever one I get to in time before the end of next year. So yeah, those are all of the specific books I would like to get to. There's obviously going to be more books that I want to read when isn't there, including different series. But yeah, so yeah, that is all of those. I don't think, is there anything else? I know I've got one more book here, but I'm not sure if there's anything else I want to say. There isn't any other books specifically I'm going to talk about. I do read non-fiction, but I go through those slowly, and I don't necessarily have a specific TBR. Other than that, I've already got books that I want to read on my shelf and stuff. So I won't go through those. That's the same Christian non-fiction as well as just general, usually history non-fiction. But there is a Bible study, devotional type thing that I want to do next year. I don't know how long I will take to complete it. But this is actually created by a friend of mine, a fellow booktuber, and that is Kelly from Bookish Kelly. She has done a Psalm study journal, and it's a guided study, so you've got, some like prompts type of thing, different things questions to answer, things like who the author of this particular psalm is, and the context, key verses, words and ideas, as well as different elements found in the psalm and the verses that apply. Then there's a reflection on what God is revealing to you in this psalm and a prayer, and then there's a big 1 page of space for different notes, so you can do further study if you would like. So she's done this because she's doing a in-person, I think, study with other ladies, I assume in her church or in her area or something like that, or friends, either way. But she's made it public as well, because she's talked about it, and me and a lot of our other friends, as well as other people who watch her videos, have expressed interest in also doing this. So she's made it into a book and put it on Amazon. I will try and link it if I can. She and her friends are going through this in a year. So obviously, if you wanted to, you could also do the same, or you can go slower or faster, depending on what you want to do. So it's not like you have to do in a year like she is. It's just, that's what she's doing with her fellow studiers. So yeah, that is definitely something specific I would like to do. Whether I do other Bible studying things, I don't know. It depends on how much each psalm takes, as well as how I'm feeling, and when I finish this as well, because I don't know. We'll see. See what happens. I'm kind of the sort of person who kind of just goes with the flow and just decides what to do. For the past 3 years, I think I have been doing faiths from Faith Womack Bible Nerd Ministries. She had a Bible study plan for reading the whole Bible in a year, and for 3 years I've been doing that. So I don't know whether I'll continue doing that. I do enjoy it because it means I've got something set out for me that I need to read and study. Otherwise, I find if I don't have anything specific, or like the Psalm study or the Bible study plan, I find I'm less likely to actually study, because I won't know what to do in terms of like where do I start, or is there something specific I want to study. And usually it's each day when I wake up and stuff like that. So if I'm not planning to do a particular study, say, I don't know, on anxiety or on love or the names of God or whatever, like if I have nothing specific like that or something, then I'll probably end up either not doing a very effective study, or I just won't be studying. So, I'd like to do that. So I like to have something that I know I can follow, even if it's quite open in terms of the faith one, the one done by Faith, because hers is just like specific chapters or whatever each day that you read and study, but that's it. So like you can do what you want within that sort of thing. So yeah, but yeah, I think that is it. I don't think there's anything else I want to update you on in terms of my goals. So yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, there's nothing else I want to mention. So I think I will leave you to it. So thank you for watching. what are your plans for next year? Do you have any specific books or series you would like to start or continue or finish, or books or authors you would like to read to zero? I don't, or continue reading as a priority even if you don't read to zero. I didn't think of that in terms of specific authors. I'm very much the sort of person who has a lot of authors that I would like to continue reading. So it's not like I'm necessarily expecting to read to zero for a lot of them, certainly in terms of ones who are still publishing books. And obviously if they're older authors that have passed away since, then obviously that's different. But yeah, I didn't really think that far ahead. But to be fair, I have so many authors I would like to either try or continue reading that we'll be here all day. So yeah. So yeah, there's nothing like that. But do you have any authors that you would like to do that with? Let me know. Let me know what your plans are. And if you have any specific amount of books that you would like to read, let me know what they are as well. Be curious to hear what your goals are. And yeah, thank you for watching. God bless, and I love you all. Bye.